Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Money Matters Top Tips for Success, where each and every day I bring on new business owners, entrepreneurs, and executives and have them share their top tips for success with you. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres to keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, moneymatterstoptips.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have Vince Annable on the line, and he is the CEO and founder over at Wealth Strategies Advisory Group, also the founder and creator of the Household Endowment Model, and just released a new book, the Household Endowment Model, which has hit #1 bestseller on Amazon. Congratulations, Vince, and welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here.
So I'm excited to get more into what you're doing and also into your book. But before we do that, let's get a little bit further into your background. So how did you get started in business and in your career?
Well, I was born and raised in Southern California, grew up to be, while growing up was a beach bum, hitchhiking up and down Coast Highway with my bare foot and my 9-foot Jacob surfboard. And after that, I decided that I needed to do something a little more serious, so I joined the Air Force, traveled around the world, came back, and made a decision I needed to get into finance. And in 1980, I started my financial career trading commodities, of all things, one way to break in. From there, I left to E.F. Hutton, and I've had a career in financial services, own my own business, and in 2008, 2009, I made a decision that things were changing in the financial world. Adam, you remember when we were having a meltdown around that time? I made the decision that there had to be a better way to manage money for our clients as opposed to the standard 60-40 plan. So I started doing a lot of research. The research led me to very successful investors in the institutional world, which took me to Yale's endowment and David Swensen and the entire methodology, which I talk about in my book, all about how David Swensen changed the entire composition of the Yale Endowment Fund, which is now currently about $29 billion. And I talk about the success he had by coming out of that 60-40 model and bringing in private alternative investments. And I guess, as they say, the rest is history. The book just came out, and I'm extremely excited about everything we're doing and where we're going.
Wow, what an amazing story. And what I like about it is really, I mean, you've obviously been in the industry a long time. You've seen a lot of things. And from having the vantage point of even going from commodities to what you're doing now, I mean, that really does cover a wide breadth of the industry. So I'd be interested to hear your take on this. So there's some, younger entrepreneurs that are just getting started, or maybe they just graduated college and they're thinking about a career in finance. Now, you obviously have the benefit of obviously hindsight, and you've been in the industry a long time. You've seen a lot of different points of views, and you also, I would bet, see where we're heading for a lot of things like you were able to do in the past. That being said, what kind of advice would you give to that new entrepreneur and or college grad or thinking about a career in finance?
Well, the first thing I would tell you is that you need to develop a holistic approach to wealth management and not just get in the business to manage money, because managing money is becoming a commodity itself. All you have to do is take a look at what's going on with all the big wirehouses. They want to do everything for free now. So you have to have the lowest free price in order to get a client. But if you offer holistic wealth management solutions to all of their financial issues, you bring a great deal of value. So my advice is, don't just get involved on the investment side. Learn about total wealth management. Understand estate planning. Understand tax planning. Understand charitable giving, asset protection. Bring a circle of other professionals in those fields. Consult with them. Learn the entire holistic approach and use that as opposed to just trying to sell 60% stocks and 40% bonds, because that dinosaur is dead.
Oh man, that's great advice. Love to see the foresight there. So let's I want to switch it up a bit, Vince. Let's get into this book. So the Household Endowment Model. So so first off, you gave a little bit of it on the opening. Let's go a little bit further. So first, what inspired you to get into this book?
I was inspired by the fact that my clients were receiving this approach of adopting the Yale endowment model and an endowment style. My affluent clients were loving it. They were flocking to us. We did a lot of public seminars, a lot of public speaking, got in front of a lot of people with the message of an endowment style investment as opposed to traditional stocks and bonds. And every other seminar, presentation, or talk they had been to, all the people ever do is have a better mousetrap to manage just the money on 60% stocks, 40% bonds, and by the way, here's a variable annuity for you. And I decided that because it was being so well received by our clients and industry professionals that I needed to sit down and write a book. I was at a conference with some mentors in San Francisco a couple of years ago, and there was a company, Scribe Media, and they were presenting on how to help guys like me write a book. And I decided that it was time I had to take the message out to a wider audience. So that's what we did.
Man, that's awesome. I love this story. So what are some of the things and the takeaways that somebody that reads your book going to get?
The book is broken down into two parts. Part one is all about the endowment style investing. So we know that there are five key concerns that affluent families have. Number one is capital preservation. They don't want to lose their money. Number two is tax mitigation. They want to pay less in taxes. Number three is estate planning. Number four is asset protection. And number five is charitable giving. That is all backed by a tremendous amount of research that has been done. And so what I did is I broke the book down into two parts. The first part is all about how to invest in an endowment style model, which means that we're going to have 20, 30, 40, 50%, depends on the client. Everyone is different. We have no cookie cutters, but every client is going to have private, non-correlated investments in their portfolio. That means every time Trump tweets and the market goes down 620 points, their private investments aren't going to go down in value. And so we want to build out a portfolio that looks just like what David Swenson built for Yale. We want to do it for individuals so that it smooths out the risk, mitigates the risk, and allows them to hopefully enjoy some better returns than what you're going to get traditionally out of the market. And then part two, we talk about the key factors of tax planning. We work with accountants and CPAs that we have partnered with to do consulting. We do consulting with their clients. They do consulting with our clients. And we spend a great deal of time doing tax planning, not tax preparation. Most CPAs do tax preparation. We do a lot of tax planning because if we can help a client save $500,000 in taxes, guess what? That's another $500,000 they can invest somewhere else and grow over time. So we talk about tax planning, we talk about estate planning because the number one concern most people have that are accumulating assets, entrepreneurs, business owners, et cetera, is everything's being accumulated within their business and they want to make sure it's going to pass on to the proper heirs. But if you don't have the proper types of vehicles, i.e. trusts, wills, powers of attorney, et cetera, if those are not in place, then when you have your passing, there could be a mess. And the conference room is going to be filled with family members and attorneys, and everybody's going to be throwing pizza at one another because nobody's getting along arguing over everything. Number four is asset protection. Business owners, entrepreneurs, they don't want to accumulate all these assets and then all of a sudden have somebody sue them and try to take it all away. The proper structures can prevent that from happening. Also need to plan for divorce. And the last thing is charitable giving. 80% of the people in this country are charitably minded. People who have money want to give back because of their success. So the book talks about this wealth management process that I have coined being the Household Endowment Model so that families, affluent families, can plan their financial futures and optimize their financial plans for themselves and for all those that are important to them.
Now, I know this is going to change from client to client and also, situation to situation, but what do you find are some of the, I know also by working with a lot of people, certain themes tend to arise. What do you find some of the themes are of some of the challenges that some of these types of families have?
Typically, if you have a business owner, they are thinking they're going to build this business up. They want to pass it on to a family member, usually is the first choice if that's available. Second choice is, if not, they want to sell. They think their business is going to be their retirement plan. So they're building their business and it's growing and it's going crazy and everything is working wonderfully, except that everything they own is tied up in their business, and they don't do any planning to sell the business or transfer the business until the day before they just make the decision to go ahead and do it. And that's too late. So that's one of the issues we see. Number two is we see people that think they have a conservative to moderate portfolio with their local stockbroker. And it turns out when you do an analysis of their portfolio, they're in 85 to 95% stocks and, they're dividend paying. Great. But there's still 85, 95% stocks and some money in bonds, and they have no diversification. They have too much concentration in these different areas. So that's two of the areas that we find that people come to us, and those are areas of concern.
Oh, that's great. Great stuff there. And yeah, I can definitely attest to exactly what you said. Those are really common themes. And if you're listening to this and you haven't really had a second opinion, definitely something that you might think about doing. And also definitely go pick up this book, The Household Endowment Model. So Vince, if somebody wants more information on your book, of course, or also Wealth Strategies Advisory Group, so your advisory group, what's the best way for them to follow up and get information on both?
Well, they can give us a call at our office, which is 480-889-8985. We're in Scottsdale, Arizona, so we're on Mountain Time. They can call. We would be more than happy to send them some additional information. They can go to our websites, WASAGAZ, WSAGAZ.com, or they can go to the website for thehouseholdendowmentmodel.com. And one of the things that we offer, you mentioned the second opinion, we actually have a stress test that we do for families. And we stress test their entire financial plan, not just their investments. So we have what we refer to as our virtual family office. And our virtual family office is made up of law firms and CPA firms and insurance agents that specialize in different areas. And so we will go in and do a full stress test on a client's particular financial situation, and they can contact us to have that done. Also, they can actually request the stress test on our website, the Household Endowment Model, and they can buy it on Amazon today, either Kindle or it's actually a paperback version.
Fantastic. Well, hey, Vince, really appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing more about your background, all the great work you're doing over at Wealth Strategies Advisory Group to help your clients. And, of course, congrats on the new book, The Household Endowment Model. If you're listening to this and you haven't really brushed up on your financial situation lately or want a different angle at this, you definitely want to go out and pick up that book, The Household Endowment Model. Thank you again, Vince, for coming on the show, and to the audience. As always, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, leave me a review, do all those other great things we do to support our podcasters. I really do appreciate it. And Vince, thanks again for coming on.